All right, first we're gonna use our T45 to take the saddlebag off. There should be two bolts, one here and one here. All right, now we're gonna lift the bag off, and down here by the mufflers, you'll see where you'll have to pull, sort of lift up and then pull out and back. And you'll see this will just pull right off the grommet there. All right, now that we've got the saddlebag off, we're going to take a 9/16 ratchet and loosen the exhaust clamps enough that they'll wiggle and move around just enough to get the mufflers off. So the first one you'll get from here, getting that saddlebag off is not a requirement for this, but it does open this up and make this much easier to get to. So we'll loosen this here, we'll loosen the other one down over here, and then we'll be able to get access to the bolts on the bottom that hold the muffler to the bike, and we'll be able to pull them right off. So get started here on this. Alrighty, now we'll go ahead and take the Allen wrench here, ratcheting Allen. It's a, let's see what size do we have here, a 3/16 Allen head, and that will help us remove the two bolts up underneath the top muffler and the two bolts underneath the bottom muffler. All right, now that we've gotten the bolts loosened up, we're going to go ahead and take the stock mufflers off. We did just have this out today, and the mufflers are still pretty hot, so getting yourself a nice thick rubber pair of gloves or just waiting until the bike cools down is going to be important here. They do get pretty hot. The WD-40 is very helpful, spraying inside of here and letting set if your mufflers have been ridden for quite a few miles and really baked on there. All right, so one thing you'll notice when you get your stock mufflers off is we do have a gasket inside of here. And so unlike your usual where you'll reuse the stock clamps, you'll notice the Tab Performance mufflers will come with an exhaust clamp that is perfectly sized for the pipe, and the pipe sized perfectly for the header. So you do not need to go spend another $35 or $40 on another set of gaskets from your dealership. You should be able to just use these pipes, the clamps that are provided, and you'll be off and running. All right, so we've got a 5/16 socket here that we're going to go ahead and just loosen these hose clamps. All right, once we get that done, we will go ahead and set the stock muffler aside and grab our first Tab Performance muffler here. So the first one we're going to do is the bottom muffler. We will get this heat shield slid back over. And the important thing when doing this is to leave them loose so you can get your heat shield positioned correctly with the head pipe. Once we get the muffler fully installed, we will tighten all the heat shield clamps back down and make sure that everything looks like it should. All right, now that we've slid both the front and the rear muffler back on, we're going to start by first securing the mufflers to the bike, making sure that they're centered on the mounting brackets before we worry about tightening the exhaust clamps or our heat shield clamps. So you'll notice everything's still kind of on here loose. We want to be able to still manipulate that to move it around here. So the first two underneath here. All right, now that we've got the two mufflers bolted to the bike firmly, we're not still going to worry about the heat shields here. We're going to just tighten down our exhaust clamps. We're going to make sure that the front one is facing down where we can reach it from here. And the rear muffler, you can reach from here. So when you put these on, it's going to be important that you position your muffler clamps appropriately so that way they can be accessed here. So we're going to go ahead and tighten these down using our 7/16 socket here. Alright, we want to make sure that they're nice and snug and clamped. We do not need to over tighten these. Alright, now we just make sure we got our heat shields nice and in alignment here. And then we make sure that these bands are facing down underneath these muffler support bars before we start tightening them down We're going to tighten them down here with this same 5/16 we used earlier. Just pop them on these hose clamps down here. And just go until they're tight. Again, this is another one you don't need to over tighten. Make sure the heat shields are nice and sturdy. And we're done. All right, now that we've got the full install done, it's important to remember that after handling all the chrome, we want to make sure we get that off with some Windex and a nice soft rag. Make sure we get it nice and clean and all the oils off so they don't burn on and ruin the chrome. And then just keep in mind that these Softails have wide open headers, and so what we did here was a cat delete. And so it is a good idea to make sure you get your bike properly tuned. Otherwise you can have issues with bluing of your exhaust or other problems from running in too lean of a condition. So again, good idea to go ahead and get your bike tuned if you do any type of exhaust or intake changes, and you can call us here at Tap Performance and we can help you out with all of your needs on that side as well. And let's go fire it up and hear how it sounds.